ask about that. All right. So I did take off the participant security so people can just hop in, which, by the way, if you do Zoom, that really saves time when you're the leader to try to let people in. So anyway, welcome to our Zoom weekly call. For the Dream Achievers team, we have a special guest here tonight. And I just want to remind you of a couple things before I properly introduce Mark and Mark shares with us his insight. To remind you, next Monday night, for those of you that can attend, I'm having a sample fest at my home. I wish you all could come, but I know some of you live too far away. So that information is on the team page. Remember to check your personal sales and your team sales, perhaps. The end of the month is nearing, and I was just talking to Katie. Where did Katie? There's Katie up in the corner. And her goal is to get to 2,000, because at 2,000 you make 35%. Katie's gonna get there, I know she will. Katie looks like she's in the dark, but she really isn't. She's got another online party. You'll get there, Katie. So anyway, make sure you know where your sales are. And then you can still order the consultant assortment if you have not. That is good till the 31st. So just remember, it's always fun to get free stuff. So, all right. Well, without further ado, I am going to properly introduce our amazing guest speaker. And he has a nice headset on, so we're going to hear him so clear. And this is Mark Pietuszka, who lives in Easton, Maryland. That's supposed to be such a beautiful state, Mark. Mark is a diamond leader. Diamond leader. That's fantastic. Guess when Mark joined? Those of you that were at Party Palooza or participated, Mark joined April 19th of 2019. He promoted to diamond, qualified May 21st. April, May. So like 13 months. Officially, he promoted July 1st because that's how it works with Tastefully Simple. You officially promote at the top of the month or the end of the month. But anyway, Mark promoted to the top. He went from a consultant to a diamond leader in 13 months. Personally, Mark has a wife and 4 children. I can only imagine. They're beautiful. 13, 11, 6 and 3, so middle school, elementary, and not even preschool yet. So you're busy. Mark is a STEM teacher. What does that mean again?
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
So Mark is smart. I love it, Mark. I asked Mark his favorite part of his Tastefully Simple business, and he said the friendship. So I asked Mark to share with us how he made it from consultant to diamond leader in 13 months. So Mark, I'm gonna let you take the floor.
Okay, so I have to tell you that her topic is really stressful. Like, there is no magic answer. Like, every person is different. So please know that what I say tonight, take with a grain of salt. So, I'm just going to kind of share a little bit of my story because that kind of lays out how my Tastefully Simple world evolved. So I joined as a favor to a friend, really didn't have the money to join, but I joined because she needed, I'm sure there was some kind of Jill challenge going on, to tell you the truth. Now that I'm on the inside, I probably know that for sure. So, but she needed somebody to join, and I was like, we use the products all the time, and fine, I'll join, I'll get the discount or whatever it might be. So I did that, and then life started to happen, and we were having trouble keeping up with our car payments. Long story short, both of our cars ended up being repossessed, and I was walking to work. Luckily, my work was literally a 7-minute walk from door to door, so it was well worth it. But I had to borrow money from my mom, and at that point, I was like, I'm paying her back by, and I set a certain date, and I knew the only way I was going to do that was through my Tastefully Simple business, because I was a Catholic school teacher at that point in time, and we made no money. So I decided that I needed to step it up into high gear. I had one consultant under me at that point in time, and she was one of those consultants that would sell a little and then stop for about 3 or 4 months and then start again. And that's okay. That's what she needs, and that's how it helps her, and that's fantastic. But I knew I was going to need more than one person below me to help start bringing in that extra income. And so, on a whim, I found a help wanted picture on. I posted 24-year company looking for people interested in helping people create meal solutions for their family and time saving in the kitchen. And one of my students' moms reached out and said, I'm not a people person, but I think I really need to do this. And so she did. She said, give me a day, let me talk to my husband. Back then, the investment was like, what, $109 or something like that, plus tax and shipping and all that good stuff. Um, and so the next day she said, all right, I'm going to do it. What's your website? So I sent it to her because I wanted to get her why her excitement was there. Because, if you wait too long, sometimes they decide, oh, maybe this isn't for me. They have time to rethink it. So you got to get them while they're hot. So I sent her the link immediately and I said, I'm right here on chat. I will walk you through the process.
Uh-oh.
And so, um, I'm echoing. Anywho, um, I was like, no, I do it from hiding behind my computer, and I never go into people's homes. Occasionally, I'll do a vendor event, but I'm 100% virtual. Um, and so she's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And we started her launch party like 2 days later. And it was like $1,000 party, and she got like 7 or 8 bookings from people that she kind of finagled some in, and I helped her get a couple, and then she has taken off like wildfire, and she too is now a diamond leader. And so it really shows that when you take a little bit of initiative and you ask for help when you need it, and I was doing that all the time. Like my sponsor, after me being in for about 2 months, decided that Taste So Simple was no longer part of her journey. Um, and so I was kind of floundering, like, who do I talk to? And so I found the person that was above her and got some good info. And, like I would be on chat with HQ just about every day. Holly and I are like best friends now. so um, love her. But, I realized that as soon as I had one person that was really motivated, that was with me, it became much easier to start asking other people to not only join, but I became more comfortable with asking them to have parties, or to push the envelope a little with like, hey, so you were a rock star in so and so's party, have you ever thought about having a party of your own, or even doing this as a business? And I have a little message that I have saved on my computer, and like it's just a copy and paste that I do, that's called my rock star message. So if bookings are low in a party, I shoot a message to a couple people who have been really participating, and they might not have already committed to a party, or they might not have placed an order, but they've been participating, which to me is like a red flag that says, hey, like money might be tight because I haven't ordered, but like I really love the products and I might want to win something for free. And so when you do those like what I call that rock star message, it really pushes them forward and really makes them think of, yeah, I think I do want to have a party because, I could this, that, or the other. And then I always, always, always ask my host before their party starts, you know, before we get this party started, would you like to turn this into your launch party and make money on your own party? And I have gotten several consultants that way as well to join my team. I do challenges for my team every single month. And my people love a challenge. Um, so that really motivates my team. Like September and October, we're doing a fall sweepstakes where for every X number of dollars they sell, they're earning a lottery ticket that I'm actually going to send them in the mail. They're going to scratch them off, and if they win, they're going to send them back to me, and I'm going to Venmo them their winnings. Um, and so, that's just something that I'm doing for my team, just something different and outside of the box. But they get bonus tickets. So we do a thing called Green by 15. which is where if they have $1,500 in sales by the end of the 15th of the month, they can get into a drawing to earn a $15 gift card to Amazon. But if there's more than 15, you see my theme here, right, with the 15? If there's more than 15 of them that have hit that goal, the gift card amount goes up to $25. And so, like this past month, we just initiated this and I had 12 people get to that goal. And so we're going to do that from now until Lead Strong. And so there are a lot of people who were like really close and now they are very determined to make sure that they get to that goal next month. So, one thing I do is a lot of goal setting with my team, one-on-ones. I've done Google Forms. But basically, I'm not just there, I'm always there. And it's not that I'm there 24/7 for them, but when they have a question, they know that they can come to me and I will give them an answer. I really do try to funnel them through their upline first if I'm not there, if I wasn't the one who recruited them. But it works really well as a team. What else do you want me to talk about, Sherry? Because I could just continue to ramble on if you want.
Well, you're not rambling on. Maybe I'll open the floor and see what questions others may have.
See
Rebecca.
Rebecca's hand.
Yeah, Rebecca. You got to unmute, sweetheart. There you go.
Okay, so when you say that you turn the party over to the host as their launch party or whatever to recruit them, what I'm questioning is, like, usually when I would do that, then they get all the sales. So you're not doing that because I'm assuming they're online orders, or just tell me like how that works, because that kind of confuses me, I guess.
Right. So before I set up their party on Facebook, I ask them, before I set up your party, are you interested in? And if they say yes, I say, let's get you signed up now so we can put your ordering link in and you make the money instead of me. I still run the whole entire party for them.
Right.
And I give away the grand prize at the end. That's kind of, I don't think that, they just spent $99 to sign up. And now I'm going to ask them to put out another, $10 or so in prizes and whatnot. And so I don't think that's fair. So I run their party for them. I give away their grand prize in their first party. And then, they just kind of do the watch and observe. We're doing all little trainings in between, during that week. And then when we get to the part where we're getting them bookings in their party, the next party I partner with them. I still do all their posting, but they take care of like doing all the commenting and whatnot. And then the third time around, they do all of the work and I'm just in there to watch. And if I notice like things aren't happening or whatnot, I just shoot them a message and say, hey, here's some tips that I would suggest or something like that.
Okay, so you don't, I just misunderstood. I thought you had said you did that before you closed, but no, you do that before you open the party.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I have had consultants after day one say, I think I want to join. And I tell them, let's do this immediately. So the sales that you've already had, unfortunately, I can't give back to you. However, we can catch everyone else as soon as you get your own link. And so we do that a lot all the time as well.
Okay.
I had a gal who's on my first line now who at the end of day one of her party was at $800 in sales. Right. And she's like, yeah, I think I might want to do this now. I know you asked the other day and I said no, but now I'm second guessing myself. And so I said, I'm more than glad to walk you through the process. We'll get your own link up there. But I said, at $800, I'm not sure how much more you're going to squeeze out of your friends at this party. And I just wanted to be upfront with her. I'm going to tell you that she turned around. We extended the party 2 extra days because of the changing over. She had $1,000 party on top of the 800 she did already. So it's there, and she was, people were just excited. There were people who placed a second order just because she signed up, because people were ready to support her. And they saw, and, she calls this her fun job. She just recruited her very first person. So she's really, really excited. So, and it's all because we're following this duplicatable process. That was a good question.
Yeah, very good, Rebecca. Who else has a question for Mark?
I have a
What?
question.
Oh, go ahead, Kim.
Mark, so you said you've done a couple of vendor events, but you really, it's all Facebook, right? You don't do in-home taste testing parties. Okay,
No.
so with the Facebook parties, can you walk us through, are you doing, how do you set yours up? Is it like a week-long event? Would you go live like those epic parties? What do your Facebook parties look like?
So my Facebook party is a 4-day. I normally start all of my parties on Tuesdays. So what I do is I send that first message to my hosts the Friday before, saying I'm getting ready to set up your party today. You know, for me to invite you to it, I need you to make sure you accepted my friend request if we weren't already friends. It's going to be a great week of fun and prizes and games. And usually they'll all like give a thumbs up, or they'll just say I just friended you, or whatever it is. And that's when I come in with my question of, just want to make this offer out to you. Are you interested in starting your own business and turning this party into your launch party, and you make money right off the bat? And so I have a pre-message that I send them at that point. And if it's a yes, we go through the join process. If it's a no, I kind of push the envelope just a little to see, is it a no, or is it a no, I'm just thinking about it. And then I set up their party, and that gives them the rest of Friday, depending on what time they actually answer the message, all day Saturday to invite, some of Sunday. That gives people time to get in there. On Monday night, before the party goes out, the day before, I usually post just a message that says, who's getting excited? Party starts tomorrow. Show us with a GIF below. And I always start with a GIF just so they know that it's easy to do. And, so I post one, and they get going with that. And then the next morning, I post from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. once an hour. And day one is really heavy on engaging posts. And then I kind of ease back. So day one is more of a informational, this is what Taste So Simple is, this is how this party is going to work. Here's a game. Want to earn the grand prize? This is how. Here's another game. And then I just do a couple, like I do beer bread on the first day because everyone loves beer bread and everyone knows beer bread. And so that's a product that they all know. And then I go, and then we always end the night with a game every night of the party. So that's day one. Day two, again, it's 8 to 8. A little bit more focus on products or recipes on day two, and 3 is the same. And then day 4, I always end day 3 with a post that says only 24 hours left to order. And I put the link in there again with a graphic. And then the 4th day, this season, because of the way I did my outline, it's not every hour, it's like every 47 minutes, but it's still 8 to 8. My 7 p.m. post is always 1 more hour to get your orders in, and I put the link in there, and I have a graphic that I created that says 1 more hour, and then I go in and I tag every single participant in that post. And I used to ask my hosts about that point in time, are you thinking you want to extend your party, for another day or two, just to kind of catch any stragglers? I don't ask anymore. I just do. Officially the party ends at 8 p.m. on Friday night, which was payday. And some people aren't even home yet. They went out to dinner, or they went to happy hour, whatever it is. So at 8:15, the last official post of the party goes out that says, hold the phone, party's been extended, and they have until Sunday night at 8 p.m. So they get 2 additional days. Usually on Saturday, I post information only about my VIP group and reminding them that there's still an opportunity for them to get extra tickets. And I have people who join like Sunday morning, like, oh, I missed the invitation. And they go through and then play every single game from top of the party down. And, because they want to get tickets before the party's over. And then on Sunday night, I kind of just shoot a message over to the host. Hey, here's what your rewards are. This is what you're looking at. You only got one booking, which is one half price item. If you want a second one, I would highly suggest we talk to, so and so, because they were so active. Will you start a message between the three of us? And they usually do, and we'll get 2 or 3 more bookings that way on Sunday evening. And then Monday morning, they usually shoot me over their wish list, their order, and we're all closed out by Tuesday morning,
Wow.
just in time for the next set to start. So
So how many on average, are you running a week? How many do you typically have?
so last week I did 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that, Sherry. So when I do my parties, if it is more than 3, I put them in what's called a block party. So I put all of my hosts in one Facebook group, and I use a service called Linktree. It's linktr.ee. It's free, and basically, I put in, like Cindy's party link, Susie's party link, Peter's party link, and basically, so they click on my Linktree link, which is this little short thing, and then it opens up a page, and it has, Susie, Peter, Jane, and they just click on the name of their host, and it takes them right to our Tastefully Simple ordering page for that party. So that's something that I do because running, 9 parties simultaneously, hello, craziness. So it's technically one party. I just have 9 hosts.
And you set them up as groups or events?
I always use groups, and that is because I use SyncShare, and it doesn't post to events. It only posts to groups.
Okay. Thank you.
And, I didn't talk to Sherry about this before, but I'm more than willing to do this. If you all wanted to see like what my party looks like, I can run a fake dummy party that you guys can all join in on, and it will just run its cycle, and I'll just pretend that people are ordering and whatnot, so you can kind of see what it looks like. If that's something she's shaking her head yes, and
Yes, yes, yes,
so,
yes.
okay. So we can set that up, tomorrow or the next day, and just you can invite all your team into there, and they can kind of.
For sure. I'm sorry, Mark. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Let's do it. So, Mark, I love everything about what you've done, and I'm so proud of you. But I gotta ask, how did you know to do this? How did you know this, Mark?
So I'm going to say I give a ton of credit to my wife. So my wife is a director with Pampered Chef, and she had been partying with them this kind of style for about a year before I joined Tastefully Simple. And when I joined Tastefully Simple's online parties were like non-existent, and I was like, well, that kind of stinks. And so I had to create the wheel instead of recreate the wheel. And so now I found my groove, and this is how we teach my whole entire downline, is how to do online partying. And if they want, so this is really sad, but if they want to learn how to do an online or in-person party, we tell them to go to HQ and watch the videos because none of us have ever done it. We have one person on our team who has done one live party. The rest of us are all online. So, and as things are reopening after COVID, like I did an outdoor vendor event this past weekend, and I'm going to tell you, I had really low expectations. It was an overcast, cloudy day. It had drizzled some in the morning. It was outdoors in the grass, like people weren't going to show up. And I was like, I'm out my $25, but whatever, I'll give out a couple business cards and chalk it up to, a business loss. Within the first hour and a half, I sold $475 in products. And so it's like, okay, well, I will be back next month, so there is something to be said about going and doing live events and connecting with people. I also signed a new consultant there that day. So on Saturday, so she, we had a lengthy conversation at the end of the event, and she went home and signed up on my website. So, it was way worth my time and effort. And, even if, you are thinking about going to an event or whatnot, and you think, well, do I have the time? Do I really, do I want to spend the money? Is it going to be worth my time? Still go, do it, get your name out there, get seen. And really, just I hand out business cards left and right, but I've turned all mine into magnets now. So people take them home and they end up on their fridge. And then all of a sudden you'll get a random order and like, so I always send an email saying thank you if I don't know who the person is. And I always say, how did you hear about me or how did you find me? And a lot of times said, oh, I was at some event and your magnet was on my fridge. I'm like, oh, okay. So they do work. But, it's just little things I've learned along the way that, like I just kind of post out to my team and say, hey, if you want to try something new, here it is. Give it a shot.
Could you tell us more about the ticket game that you do? How you
So,
give out
so all right. So between us and Zoom, I give out tickets, but I do nothing with tickets. So there is no keeping track because that is a waste of time. I know who my winner is because that is the person's name that I have tagged repeatedly over and over and over again over the course of the 4 or 5 days. I can only say Susie Joe, 2 tickets for you. Susie Joe, 25 tickets for you. Susie Joe, 15 tickets for you. Like over and over and over again. You're like, Susie Joe is obviously my winner. So, and you can just kind of tell. If you have one of those parties, and I've only had one of these where it was so active, what I did was I just took the 4 active people that were really active and I just threw their 4 names in a hat and just pulled one. But it's the names you're typing over and over and over again to tag them because I tag them to bring them back into the party. They answer a question, I tag them and give them tickets so they come back to the party to see what they were tagged in.
So you tag 10 tickets for you. Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I've learned is because I spent a good portion of October last year in Facebook jail. Literally, I was using I had my son sign up for Facebook. He was like 12 and a half at the time, and I lied about his age so I could get a Facebook account. So, and I was using his, I used my wife's, I created a second Facebook account, like just to keep myself being able to still post into my own parties. And so, I do when I set up the party, I always invite my son's Facebook account. And he always joins and I always make him an admin just in case I end up in a place like Facebook jail. I can still go in and interact and I just make a post. Hey, my account was locked out for some reason. I don't tell them why, but I am going to be posting on my son's account for the next 24 hours. And so I've been there, I've done it, and it works. They don't care, they're getting tickets. But the one thing I've really learned is like I had 15 people answer a poll, a question or whatever. I'm not going to say, Susie Joe, 2 tickets for you, Billy Joe, 2 tickets for you, Christy, 2 tickets for you. I do one post, I tag all 15 people in it, and then say 2 tickets for each of you. And so that way I'm only commenting once instead of 15 times. So,
can you tag people if you're not friends with them, or are you sending them like a private message?
So you can tag them even if you're not friends with them, if they're a member of the group.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca, I see your hand, so give me 1 second. But Kim, you did ask if I go live in my parties, and it depends on my mood. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll throw an old video that I made with one of my kids in the kitchen and I'll just share it because I don't feel like going live. But if I have a new consultant and I'm doing their launch party, I always go live and I just thank everyone for joining. I welcome the person to my team, and then I tell everyone that there's 3 things that they can do to help their friend, the reason why they joined. And so I tell them they can help by placing an order, they can help by hosting a party, or they can help by joining her and having fun and making money at the same time. So I always do that on a new consultant's party. But there are times I go live on my parties, and there are times that I don't. But I usually have some kind of video element at some point or time, and I call them magic word videos, which they can get extra tickets for. So I post like a video, and let's say I'm demonstrating, let's say the Oh My Chai, and I'm making it into the Frappuccino. Somewhere in there, I'm going to say, now you're going to PM me this magic word and I'm going to give you 10 bonus tickets. And I tell them whatever the word is. So like maybe it was, blender, because you make it in a blender, and then I turn off commenting on that video. So they can't put the word underneath of it. They actually have to send me a private message. And what do I do with that private message? First of all, I say, congratulations, 10 tickets for you. But then I start to build conversation with them. And I start to, try to build relationship and then lean in towards getting them to have a party of their own or joining Tastefully Simple themselves. I do that the same thing with, I guess, the number game. Like right now I have a little container that has butterscotch chips in it, and guess how many are in the jar, and they have to private message me their guess. And I have an actual script that I have written out and I use, because it's not, hey, your guess was right or wrong. It's a, hey, how are you? How do you know your host? So it's right away getting to know them and building that relationship. And then in the second post, your guess of blah, blah, blah was incorrect. What does, eating look like in your home? So it's a question back and forth kind of thing and then, one of the questions is, would you be interested in joining Tastefully Simple? It sounds like you love to cook, or this, that, or the other. You're looking for easy solutions. You're looking for extra cash, whatever our conversation kind of led itself to. And then if they say no, I always follow up with, kind of checking to see if it's a no, not now, no, not ever, and then if it's a solid no, my next question, because they've just told me no now like 2 or 3 times maybe, my next question is, well, would you be willing to host a party to help Katie because she would really like some extra items at half price? And because they've told me no 2 or 3 times, 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes to hosting a party. And then I ask them again to join the business just before the party starts. So it's a never ending cycle. If you were at Party Palooza, my theme, just keep asking, just keep asking. All right, Rebecca, your question.
Sorry, I got a phone call coming in. What is your grand prize at the end of your party?
So your leader has asked me that question before, and it's based on sales. So I post throughout the party thermometers that show where the party is, and I always say the higher the thermometer, the bigger the grand prize. So I don't give anything out until the party hits at least $200, and I'm going to be changing that starting in September to 300. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's our rewards for the host specials are going up as well. It's going to be 400 to get the host special for the next couple of months. So I'm going to move that up a little. Plus, we're getting to the holiday season and people are going to spend a little extra anyway. So I'm just going to up that for now. But after 200, so 200 to about 500, I give a beer bread, and I order it through the party. And I pay the shipping, so that helps party sales again, and it helps the host, and it helps you because you get the commission off of it. And then from 501 to about 750, I send a beer bread and a seasoning, and then anything above 750 gets a cozy comfort kit. And the best part of that is that after the grand prize winner is chosen and I connect with them, and once they get it, I always ask them to go back to the party and post, a little post about, hey, just got my grand prize today, so excited, blah, 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 with a picture. And they do. And that always usually lands me another booking. So, definitely, I encourage all of my hosts or guests to post pictures when their products start coming in. Because usually the people who order early have their products before the party's over. And so what the people start to see is everything that they've got. I asked my host to take a picture of all of the freebies that they got at the end of the party and post those pictures too. And some hosts do it, some hosts don't, but there's nothing that's going to hurt you in asking.
How do you find the time to do all this with your full-time job?
Well, I have more than just these 2 jobs too. It's kind of finding my flow and rhythm. So, and I am a great multitasker. Shh, don't tell my principal. But I literally jump on at lunchtime and during my planning period, and sometimes even between classes, just to check to see how things are going. but I will say, you know, like having a supportive family is really helpful. You know, they know like, hey, dad's on a Zoom call. We need to be quiet. You know, so having a meeting that, because I'm in the Eastern time zone at 9 o'clock at night, Sherry, was actually perfect. Most of them were in bed already. So, but yeah, so, you know, it's a juggling act. I live by my calendar. You know, you know, plan everything in there that I absolutely can, you know, but the beautiful thing about Taste Like Simple is I have a cell phone and I can be at my daughter's field hockey practice and still booking parties and commenting on posts and interacting with hosts and helping other consultants. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing. I mean, I have been known to walk through the grocery store having a chat on my watch with another team member because she's stuck in hosting a party, but I want, you know, like, or, you know, trying to place an order or something's not working on my HQ. And, you know, like you know, people just know that that's what I do now. So.
Oh, I love it, Mark. You know what I hear Mark saying, and he's creating relationships, and he's also asking, and then he asks again and again and again and again. So, and the culture on his team, Mark, I re-listened to what you shared at Party Palooza leadership, and I encourage the team to do the same. And you know, you really have a sponsoring culture on your team. It's
We do.
not, are you interested? It's like, this is what we do.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you know, at first everyone's like, that's not who I am. I'm not pushy. And I said, it's not being pushy. People want to be asked, but if you're going to ask one person, you have to ask everyone. You know, when my wife was doing Pampered Chef and there was in-home parties, you know, at checkout, when people would bring that paper order form, that's one of the standard questions that you would ask. You know, do you have any interest in hosting your own party? Do you have any interest? So it's like a full service checkout. And so you still have to do the same thing virtually. And I know consultants who friend every single person that attends one of their parties, and that's not how I roll. I don't want to be friends with all these people. You know, I friend all of my hosts so they can join my parties. And you know, but you know, I need that separation. I don't need to be friends with all of those people. Just because they may or may not become a loyal customer. If they become a loyal customer, sure, we will develop a friendship and whatnot, and I'm sure eventually they'll end up on my Facebook page. But you know, that's what my VIP group's for. You know, and it's funny, you know, and I don't know how long your meetings usually are, and I'm probably making you go way over. Um, but, you know, I, on a whim, saw another consultant who happens to be my goal buddy, posted a picture of of 3 baking mixes. It was the cranberry, the pumpkin, and then the new blackberry bars. And it just says, Happy Sunday Fun Day. It was, which would you bake first was the question. And then it said, one of you might just win your answer tonight at 8:30. And so you know, and we were on the road still at 8:30, so it happened around 10. But what I did was I went through and I tagged every single person in my comment that's responded, 67 of them. So it had to be 2 comments.
Wow.
So 67 of them just saying, I'm about to pull the winner. If your name isn't pooled and you still would like to get these items, they are only under $10 each on my website. But I would really love for you to join my VIP group because I do fun things like this all of the time, right? So I did those 2 posts, and then I pulled a winner, and I, you know, just tagged that person, and I turned off commenting. I want to tell you, between last night and this morning, I had 16 people join my VIP group.
Yay.
And some of them were already members that, you know, so they didn't join, but there were 16 new people that I reached that I wasn't reaching before, just by throwing that onto my own personal Facebook page. And what did it cost me? Like $9.99 for, you know, a pumpkin bread is what I ended up sending out plus shipping. So, you know, but I ended up sending it to the state of Delaware, so there's no tax. So woohoo. So,
Oh, Mark, that's awesome. Hey, Mark, Scarlett has a question for you.
go ahead.
Okay, back to your Facebook parties. You obviously Cinch Share is huge. Why Cinch Share over the Get Social? And what if you don't have a clue how to use SynShare? Where do you start?
So you talked to Sherry because she had a one-on-one training with me.
Sherry. I talk to Sherry every day. She's holding out on me.
No, I'm not. Mark, I need more.
So what's really nice is, so I chose SynShare because I couldn't be sitting in front of my computer posting once an hour every hour for 4 days in a row. Like, it's
Right.
just not feasible. And SynShare, I want to say, it's like what, $10 a month, the best $10 I spend. And I set up an outline, and I am able to share my outline. So I shared that with my team. Like when the season changeover happened, I gave it to my team. Now I don't want them using it verbatim. I asked them to tweak it, change some of the pictures, change out some of the games. And the reason why is because if Facebook sees an exact duplicate, it will start to flag it and put people in Facebook jail.
Mhm.
And so that's why. But I do share my outline so they can see my flow. They can see how it kind of works. It gives them some different games to choose from. I know people who just take my day 4 and switch it with day 2. And then they just, switch a couple posts so it makes sense. And so that way it's not an exact duplicate. So I use that as a huge tool to my advantage because, I can't be in front of the computer all day long. And, that gives me that availability to still be making content and getting, recipes and products in front of people's eyes. And then I can come in a couple of times during the day, like before work, at lunchtime, and when I get home, and check in and give out tickets for the things that they've actually done. One thing that I introduced on day 1 is that there's a post that's called #wishlist. And it just says, every time you see a product or recipe that has products in it that you want, just comment #wishlist and I'll give you 2 tickets. So there are certain days where, if you get an active party, I have like wish lists on every single post as I go through. And so basically what I do is I don't go through my notifications anymore because it drives me crazy. So I just actually open the party and start at the top and work my way down and just get caught up that way. When I go through, so I just go through post by post and just make sure I hit everyone, and I'm tagging them back in if they have earned tickets and whatnot. Well, did I actually answer your question?
I just wondering, like why SynShare over the Get
Over
Social?
the Get Social.
And
I knew
then
there was a part.
were you like SynShare? Were you is it easy enough to self-teach or learn on your own?
So it's nice if you have a starting point. I will say so, but there are some really great YouTube videos out there. SynShare has videos of their own, but to answer the root of your question, why SynShare over Get Social? So the way Get Social is actually set up is it is meant to go to one place, like your VIP group or your business page, whatever you're using. And it's really meant to post like once, maybe twice a day. It's not going to be something that's sustainable over the course of time. I had a consultant a couple weeks ago who tried to use Get Social in one of her parties and would post 12 times in that time period, and it failed about halfway through the day. It stopped connecting to Facebook. And so she's like, is this why you all said I should use SynShare? And I was like, that's exactly why we all said you should use SynShare. So, and then I had, and that's something that, we also look at is, like at your VIP group, and how are you using it? Because some people were just using it as I just dump all my customers in there, and when a promo code comes up, I post in there. And so, it's keeping it active, but sometimes you don't want to overkill them either. Like I had a new consultant that was posting into his VIP page 8 times a day, every single day. I was like, oh, your people are on overload. I post maybe once a day on my VIP group. And sometimes it's 2 or 3 days go by and then I'll do something, so when people see something pop up, they kind of are interested to see what it is. I always try out new games on my VIP group first before I put them into a party. It's something fun for them to do, and they know that they're my game testers. And I have a couple of people like, oh my gosh, that game, you have to use it. And other people like, don't ever use that game. It was so boring, or it was so, they're really honest with you. But that's one of the things I use my VIP group for, is to try out new games to see how they'll play out in a party.
The VIP group the same as your business page?
So, you know, Sherry, you might want to cover your ears. I do not believe in business pages. So, Sherry and I have had this conversation before. So, you know, they all thought that when people were getting thrown into Facebook jail, that if you went to a business page, it was going to solve that problem. And I was like, it's not going to solve. I'm a STEM teacher. I know technology pretty darn well. I knew that wasn't going to solve the answer. So I wasn't taking the time to jump through hoops and get everyone that was on my VIP page to jump over to a VIP, you know, from my group to a page. I wasn't going to jump through all the hoops unless it really did solve the problem. And within days, people went to business pages and they were all back in Facebook jail. And I was like, see, I told you so. So Stone and I go round and round and round about this. And so even the wording on some of his posts, I send him messages and like, you can't talk like that because not everyone's following the same path that you want them to. But yeah, so I don't have a business page. So I do use a group, and the best thing about that is that Cinshare posts to it just like it was one of my party groups. So, you know, and I do the same thing for my team page. It's a group, and I, you know, like I put in all of my people's birthdays and their Tastefully Simple anniversaries, and so I don't have to, you know, like I sit down once a month and put all that stuff in there, and I don't have to see it, you know, like 2 days later, be like, oh shoot, I totally missed so and so's Tastefully Simple anniversary. You know, like I don't want that stress, so I sit down once a month and put all those in already, so I just don't forget. So.
Mark, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Again, I'm so happy and proud of what you have built. And I really appreciate your openness, Mark, your heart and your willingness to share. That's just says a lot about you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciate that. I think we're going to wrap it up, but I'm sure, Mark, we would love it if you would create that mock party or whatever you were talking about.
Yeah, so I'll create it and I'll invite Sherry to it. I'll make Sherry the host.
Yeah,
And I'll just put a fake party link in there. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll put in my link tree. So if you want to click on it and see what it looks like. So I'll do that for you. And then she can just kind of invite you all in there. And what's today? Monday. So we'll say maybe the party will start on Thursday. And we'll just let it roll over the weekend so you can kind of see how it looks. And you can, I tell people feel free to steal whatever you want, just kind of make it your own in your wording. So it's not an exact duplicate. Or if there was a picture you like, take it. If there was a game you like, steal it. You know, do with it what you will.
Would it be easier if you did Tuesday to Thursday and did it the following Tuesday, Mark, so you don't have to?
So actually, I only had one party scheduled for this week for a reason, because it's back to school week, and my host ended up in the hospital with COVID.
Oh, no.
So she's out now, but we were like, we pushed it to next week. So I would actually, it's fine to do it this week because it will be, so. Yeah, so we'll start it Thursday, but I'll set it up tonight or tomorrow and get you invited, and you can start inviting people.
Yeah. That sounds
and on there, please act like you were a guest. So if you play the games and whatnot, and I'll give you tickets like it was a game, and you know, I will pretend like a couple of you ordered at some point during the party, and I'll post the thermometers and that kind of thing, so you can kind of see how it works.
Oh, Mark, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much, and like I said, I'm just so appreciate your time, and best of luck to you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you
Mark.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. Have a good night.
Thank you.